Welcome to PSGL. This is season 26 and this is round number 7. We're at the halfway point of the season and we go to the Temple of Speed in Monza. And we got a new championship leader. More about that in a second. My name is Jess and joining me as per usual, we've got Dan. Hello, Dan.
Oh, there's some lag. Sorry, there was a big amount of lag there. I didn't know when you were talking, but then you just cut right back in. Hello, Jess. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the stream today. I can't wait for this Italian Grand Prix. The
Temple of Speed is pretty good. It was built in 1922, the third permanent autodrome in the world at that time. Brooklands in England and Indianapolis in the United States were the two other autodromes built. So we're going to have a quick look at the circuit. So Monza is 5.7 kilometers long with 11 turns, and there are two DRS zones, one towards the Parabolica and two towards Ascari, which can provide some great overtaking opportunities. And before we get to qualifying, we got to talk about one very important thing. Rafa has left PSGL.
Yeah, the championship leader, he was ahead by so much, but I believe it was something about his schedule. He retired from all league racing, so I do have to respect him for that. It will be sad not seeing him anymore, but Iamotti has come in to replace him, a driver I know quite well, being a part of IGK as well. So he's a very nice guy, very talented driver, and I think he can put in a shift in PSGL F2.
Yeah, indeed, and because of that, his teammate, Rafa's old teammate, Tozzi Tomato, is leading the championship with 60 points, 22 points clear of Faz in second place. So we got Greeny in third, Will in fourth place. Obviously, Pablo's left, but he's still in the standings. So we got Midnight in fifth, Lakitu in sixth, Dario in seventh, and we got Hadler in eighth place. Big C stays in the top 10 with ninth place. We got CC Brain in 10th. And we got Name Changer in 11th, Ski Van in 12th, Benny in 13th, Pat and Kurat in 14th and 15th, Cedric in 15th, Compassion with 1 point, Gonanen with 1 point, and there was a few people that were cut off from the standings yet, but they were yet to score. So let's go straight to the track. And I said before the stream, I was hoping it wasn't going to rain. Just look at the track right now. It is heavy rain at the moment. This is not what we want, is it?
You're quite right there. It means we're not going to see the blistering lap times that we'd normally see around in qualifying. But it will be interesting to see with the setups, because if it's going to be a dry race, some drivers might opt for a wet setup to go high up on the grid, but then they'll begin to struggle in the race, and we might see some drivers opt for a dry setup and then go and be a lot quicker in the Grand Prix rather than in qualifying. And Pat is already out the session. Oh, he's got a qualifying ban, doesn't he?
Yep, he's got a qualifying ban. We've had a few penalties from last week, quite a lot actually. Mostly, a lot of them were due to the safety car incident. Remember the flip that Gonanen had at the start of lap 1? He retired here and then, and one of those incidents, I think it was either in qualifying or in the race. Pat was in the middle of the track when Gonanen got close to him. He should have let him by before turn 7. Pat will serve a qualifying ban, which he has most certainly. And then the incident that happened in the race, Benny should have known that he had a car on his right, so he has 5 seconds added to his race time from last week and 1 point on his license. I can't remember how many points you will need to get before you get a season ban. I'm not entirely sure, but having points already at this stage of the proceedings is not good. And I think we had a few other warnings as well from the penalties. Tozzi Tomato had a warning because of Kurat's incident, and 10 seconds was added to Kurat's race time due to an incident with him and Will. So there was quite a lot of things that happened in that race, considering that we only had at least, I think, not many this season. So I'm guessing Zandvoort was a track that it was a bit difficult for the drivers, but let's hope we don't see the same in Monza, and let's hope it's dry there as well.
Yeah, I've just noticed actually that we've actually not had anything reported since Austria. Then we had one report in Belgium, and then it all kicked off in the Netherlands, which I guess you could expect given it being a new track and people just trying to find their feet around there. But it is quite something to see. We didn't see any reports for Hungary, Britain or Spain, and I'm wondering if it's going to be like that for Vietnam. It's the race next week that we'll be having, and then that will be a tell of how they have really prepared for the track. It is a grueling track. I've been doing a lot of practice because my race is on Thursday, so it is very tough, but I think these guys can handle it better than I can, to be honest.
That's why I'm in the commentary box rather than racing, so I would have sucked at Vietnam, I've got to say. Will was currently in pole position, the Belgian race winner, when it was wet to be fair, and remember in Monza 2020 this year where the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly won the race? Maybe we could see the same today. Will has won one race. You never know, he's looking quite good on the intermediate conditions. There's quite a few people on the inters and quite a few on the wet, so people are still not sure what tyres to go on for this part of qualifying, but the conditions may get better, it may get worse, but for me it doesn't look like for wets, but it may just be on the cusp of them having both tyres, but we don't know what sort of lap times they're going to be setting, but 1:29 from Faz right now is not too bad, considering he is currently second in the championship because Rafa is not racing anymore. So Faz, I think it's going to be a lot more pressure now that he's got his main rival gone from the championship.
Yeah, Faz has been really consistent this season so far, and now the fight is going to shift to him, and we actually can't call him Toxic Tomato anymore because he's changed his name to Shazoo Tomato, so are we just going to keep calling him Toxic, or should we change it up?
We could just call him Tomato because I call Shazoo name change, because obviously they had this, the only similarity really is they're both in the same team, but to be honest, Toxic, well, also known as Shazoo Tomato, he has worked very hard. The team snapped him up like that when they first introduced the team for Shazoo, and he's done a lot of work for them, so it's well deserved. And Shazoo was one of the teams that actually qualified for the Trovo Cup, which is starting on the 30th, which I believe is not this week but next week, so you can check that on the Trovo channel. It's partly run by PSGL and Brutal Democracy as well, so well done to Shazoo being one of the teams to qualify for that. Tomato, he's on 2 lap old inters now as he's going to come across the line. He doesn't take the shortest run to the line and he goes 14th place. So again, I think he was just getting a little bit of a feel for the track. Gonanen is going through I think the second Lesmo. Yes, he does. And don't forget, no slipstream allowed for these drivers. This is the track known for slipstream, and if these guys get caught out in that, they will get some penalties, so we'll need to keep an eye on that.
Yep, but I don't think that'll be an issue for Gonanen. It's just flashed up that he's gone purple through this sector, but I doubt that is true. There is a lot of glitches with the timing. He does seem to be on a pretty clean lap as Iamotti, the replacement for Rafa, goes to the top,
Wow.
and then his IGK teammate, Dario, goes to the top of the standing. So IGK 1 and 2 at the moment, but Gonanen looking quite clean at the moment. I think Luke has gotten his way ever so slightly through Parabolica, but I don't think it's too much of an issue. So Gonanen crossing the line, 13th fastest on the wet tyres.
That is amazing. Not too bad, really. And Dario, we saw his form come into light in Spain, where we almost got the win. We almost saw a different winner, but however, Rafa managed to get from pretty much 11th on the grid, I think, to first. So I need to check when Dario finished in that race. I think it was either second or third. It was third, actually. So he was 2 places more to getting a win. But unfortunately, his luck dropped off in the other races. He got an 11th place in Belgium and he did not finish in the Netherlands. So he's got to work on becoming consistent. But again, he's one of those other drivers that helped the team qualify for the Trovo Cup as well in just under a week's time as well. So he's a guy not to be underestimated, to be honest, as well. As I'm just trying to see, Benny has not set a lap time yet. He's got a lot of work to do, but I'm guessing from the way they're pushing on these tyres, I don't think it's going to be a wet start to the session. And one advantage, free choice of tyres, so we may see a mixed strategy when it becomes lights out in about 8 minutes' time.
Yeah, well, you always want to have a little bit of wear just on your tyres in the wets, because if there's too much tread on it, if the tread is too deep, you're not going to be able to generate as much heat. That's why you do typically see multiple wet runs on the intermediates and more so on the wet tyres. Yeah, they're just back-to-back pushing laps. Gonanen does a 129.5. That puts him up to 6th position. Gonanen, I hope he can get a good result this week. He's definitely deserved it. He's He's turned up for a lot of the races, and he's not been he's not really been rewarded for that. And he certainly is a fast driver. He's been pushing in practice a lot, and I just wanted to see him get to the top, maybe a top 5 finish today.
Yeah, he's only got 1 point in this season. He was the one who's been here for most of the races, and he had nothing to show for it, which is a bit of a shame. There are most instances where he got quite unlucky, like last week in Zandvoort. I feel like he could have scored a top 10 finish last week if he didn't get caught up in that. So he's got to make sure that he doesn't get involved in a turn 1 incident. But he's right near the middle as well, so that's going to be quite tricky. But I'm sure he's got plans on his sleeves right now to try and get up a few positions anyway, because there's some people that could make a mistake. But, you know, these are F2 drivers. They are known to obviously be a little bit more careful, so hopefully we'll keep it as clean as possible. Midnight is on a lap as well. Midnight at the moment is currently ahead of his teammate in the championship. He's currently 18th fast, 19th fastest now on track. Last of the finishes, because don't forget Pat has got a qualifying ban due to the incident that happened last week, but he's on 1 lap old anyway. He's going to be on less fuel. ERS is not going to be a huge thing around this track in the wet, so they can use as much as they want. Oh, as Midnight is invalidated for Ascari. That's a common place to invalidate around here, and probably a common place to get penalties in the race. So, you know, these guys have got to be careful, but these guys have been pushing, so they just want to find the limits very, very quickly.
Yeah, Midnight's probably going to go for another run here. He's going to knock it up into the hot lap mode. So his run isn't over. He's not even been on these tyres for a very long time. That was his only lap fully on the intermediate tyres. So definitely more time to be found on that one. Seeing a couple of outlaps coming out. VLT Luke, who is one of the drivers who was actually cut off. He's outside the top 21. He hasn't got a single point. Well, he's one of the only drivers that hasn't scored a point. So I would also like to see the McLaren driver score a point today. Certainly on track for one, because he's 5th fastest at the moment. He's gone out for another lap on the wet tyres. So actually the same set as he used before, I believe. Or, oh, sorry, no, I had it on best, not fitted. So yeah, he can find some time, but he is actually a bit slower. I think they might be in intermediate conditions now.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is getting lighter at the moment. And VRT, another team that got qualified into the Trovo League as well, starting for the 30th of September. And Luke was one of those drivers that helped get them through that. And it was a bit of a shock for some of the competitors to see them through. But to be honest, I wasn't shocked. He's had good pace in the qualifiers and did a great job. So he deserves it. And he's hopefully going to represent this league and do us proud, I've got to say. Hopefully Luke doesn't cut for Ascari, which he doesn't, which that's good news to say. Will he go into the pits or will he stay out? But I think more people are going on the inters. Big C left the session. Hopefully, actually, I don't think you're allowed to rejoin, I think, in qualifying. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know the rules. I know in the race you're not allowed to join back, but I'm not sure about qualifying. So don't forget, Big C has set these rules up, so maybe he's fell victim to his own rules and he can't join back in the session. As Luke comes across the line and he stays 5th fastest. I think he improved by just a little bit. We've got Greeny in 4th, Will in 3rd, Motti in 2nd, and Dario in first place. And Motti just invalidated his lap. But everyone set a lap, but we still got Tomato and Name Changer still to set a representative lap time, because the 140s and the 150s, they're not representative at all. But just watch these guys. It is coming up to the calm before the storm pretty soon. Who knows who's going to get pole here?
Absolutely. I definitely think the 2 Shazoo drivers of Tomato and Name Changer can find their way up the order. But Name Changer is beginning to struggle at the moment. He invalidated on one of his runs that would have seen him go pretty high up the, or I say high up the order. He's actually going to come into the pits. Wouldn't have been an incredible lap time coming from the Red Bull driver, but he's got to be quick to get out again. I believe Tomato's actually on a pretty decent run right now through Ascari and onto the back straightaway before Parabolica. So he's coming towards the end of his lap. The current championship leader, his teammate Iamotti, in 2nd position at the moment, into the braking zone. You know what? I think this could be a good lap from the Williams driver. So just being tentative on the throttle, coming out of Parabolica. He almost runs wide there and goes into the gravel where Charlotte Clerk went off, but it's 6th fastest for the championship leader.
Just look at the times now. We thought it wasn't going to get closer in the rain. We thought the gaps were going to be a little bit more spread out, but the gap between 1st and 17th, 1.1 seconds. That is just incredible for these guys. And Compassion was 1.9, and we still got Name Changer to set a lap time as well. And I would expect later on, if F1 qualifying is dry, that to be even closer, to make sure you do watch that at 8 p.m. BST as well. I did see someone go through Parabolica, but I wasn't sure who that was, as Big C has just joined. So I do believe you are allowed to join in qualifying, but I will double check the rules on that, just so I'm sure, because I don't want to call out on people breaking the rules when they haven't. So yeah, it's Lakitu is on a lap right now. He set purple sector 1. He impressed me last week. He got driver of the day finally. I think, I think I just commentated cursing now. I was going to say he was on a good lap there, and he lost it a little bit. We'll see how he does go through the second Lesmo now. But yeah, he finished second, one of his best results of the season. He was pretty happy with himself. It kind of reminded me of Sainz, where he was getting so close to the leader, which was Toxic, but he wasn't quite there. But it was still a really, really nice battle, and he definitely deserved driver of the day. I didn't see him improve on his time, though, but he's still got 1 minute 38 seconds. So watch out for Lakitu this race. If it's changing conditions in the race, I think this is a person we can watch out for. Is he likes these conditions like that? We'll see as he goes through Parabolica now. I doubt he's going to improve, though, as Big C's left the session again. I think he's having internet issues. He comes across the line. Lakitu goes P7, so he was fastest sector 1, fastest sector 3, but sector 2 was where he lost it, and that was, I think, after heading into turn 6 just for the first Lesmo, so that is a bit of a shame there. But with 1 minute left to go, it's all to play for these guys. Greeny on pole at the moment, but Will, 7,000 of a second separating between these two. Who's going to win? Is it going to be the ones on the inters or the ones on the full wets? Only time will tell.
Yeah, well, they seem to be really split with the tyres at the moment. They're pretty much equal, and throughout the entire field, I believe Big C is allowed to rejoin. The point where you can't rejoin is right as the lights come on. Even if you disconnect on the formation lap, I believe they're actually obliged to do a restart if you do disconnect from that. I believe Cedric just went 4th fastest at the moment. So yeah, the McLaren team doing pretty well today, actually, in qualifying, 4th and 8th at the moment, and Luke is on an out lap. I actually don't think he's got enough time to begin his run, so unfortunately he's not going to get another lap in. But
he's invalidated anyway. And Cedric, yep, he's going through, I think, turn 4 and 5. Compassion move out the way, which he does. We got a few people about to cross the line to finish their laps at the moment. Compassion is out. I do see, I think it's either one, yep, it's a Renault of Lakitu. Let's see if he got a better sector 2 as he comes across the line now. Yes, he does. He listened to us, Dan. He listened to us. He founded a sector 2 that he wanted at the moment. He's on provisional pole position. We've got a Haas car of Handler coming across the line now. Let's see if he can beat Lakitu's time. Nope, he does not. Next, we've got, I believe, no, it's not CC Brain. It's Greeny LFC. He's second fastest at the moment. Looking fast throughout the whole session. Nope, he does not improve. Tomato's out of the session. I don't know where he's retired there. Next, we've got the Red Bulls. I think it's Gonanen. Yes, I did get it right. And he's invalidated his lap time. So he's not going to improve. I do see another McLaren. That's Cedric, who's coming across the line now. Can he find some time? 2 attempts down on his previous best. We've got the other Renault of Faz. He got pole in a wet Hungary last time. Can we see a Renault 1-2? Nope, he only remains 5th fastest. And we got a racing point. I think it's Kurat. And he goes into the pits. He's not going to improve. I doubt not many people are improving. We could see Midnight improve on his lap time. I don't think enough to get pole position, but enough to improve just by 3 tenths into 13th position. And that is the end of qualifying, with Lakitu taking his first pole position in PSGL F2. Well done to him.
Yeah, really well done to Lakitu. That was a great lap from him. Pretty much almost 2 tenths clear of anyone else, to be exact. It is 0.143 of a second.
Wow.
That is how close the gaps are. I was watching Tomato on his lap, and he lost it coming out of the chicane just at the start of the second sector, and he actually retired from that. And that's why I went, ooh, a little moment ago, because it was really heartbreaking to watch. It was a slow skid that just sent him careering into the barrier, and there was nothing he could do, so he couldn't finish that lap. And I actually believe he was 2 tenths up, so he could have fought for pole. But it is the Renault driver of Lakitu. He has been really impressive. I think he's taken up a gear in this season. He could be the dark horse in the championship. I actually need to check where he is. He's found himself in 8th position and not a million miles off the championship lead.
Yep, I do believe, according to the standings, he's on 20 points. So, yeah, he's not that far off as well. Not that far off from Midnight Will as well, so it's still possible. But anyway, looking at your results, so Lakitu starts from pole position, from Greeny, from Will, from Tomato. Then we got Faz in 5th, Daria in 6th, Skivan in 7th, Cedric 8th, Kurak 9th, the new driver of Emoti in 10th. Then we got Luke Gonanen, Midnight Hadler, Benny, CT Brain, Big C, Compassion, Name Changer, and Pat. Name change is the last of your qualifiers, with Pat starting at the back of the grid. And I think around Italy, starting at the back of the grid and getting a quali ban is not too bad, as I found around here a few weeks ago, because I gained quite a few positions from that. So I don't think it's bad for Pat to get a qualifying ban for this race. As the gods have spoken, Dan. It's not raining. It's a dry. Luckily, it's going to be a dry race. Hopefully, it's nicer, bright, sunny skies. So yeah. So this could be a very good race.
Yeah, nice and sunny outside. You can't even see a cloud up there, so it's probably as warm as it could be. And my theory could be correct in that we could have seen some of the top drivers running wet setups to get an advantage in qualifying. Some of the guys further down the order might also be on a dry setup. I would watch out for Pat in this race, actually, because if there's one person on a dry setup, it is definitely going to be him, because he had no reason to be on a wet setup because he had a qualifying ban. So he could be 1-2 charge up the order, but it is definitely going to be a test. Once we actually get into the first couple of laps, it'll be easy and clear for us to see who has opted for the dry setups.
Yep, indeed. That's very, very interesting. And what tyres have they opted for? Because usually, if it's a dry qualifying and a dry start to the race, then the top 10 will have to start on the tyres that they set their fastest lap on. But since they didn't have any soft or medium tyres to use in the qualifying session, then they could use whatever tyre they want to start the race on. So we've got a lot more people starting on the medium compounded tyres. I think the only people on the soft are Lakitu, Will, Cedric, Luke, and Benny, as a few people have been disqualified from the session. I think Big C, may have joined at the right time. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll have to double check on that. But I haven't actually I need to actually take notes of the medium to soft strategy, but the soft to medium strategy has popped up on the screen. According to some people, lap 11 to 13 would be the best option. According to my notes, laps 8 to 11 potentially as well. And maybe because most people start on the mediums, we could see people going to the mediums to around about lap 14 to 17, and then they'll be going on to the soft compounded tyres. So that's thrown strategy completely, well, it's not completely out the window, but it's down to skill now. Will the ones on the softs get a good launch on the line, and will the mediums try to get a good launch on the line as well? Maybe the people on the softs are thinking there could be a safety car coming, or maybe that means, I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. But Dan, who's your money on to win this race?
Oh, you put me really on the spot here. I'm going to go with Will to win this race. He's going to get his second win of the season. Shall I fill out my podium?
Go on.
I'll go with Lakitu in second, and then third for Faz. That is going to be my prediction today.
Oh, I'm going to say Will, Lakitu, and Tomato. That's going to be my prediction. So we got the top two, I think, pretty much the same. But yeah, Tomato, I think, is going to get third place. And I'm going to put Greeny in fourth, because Greeny's been consistent this season as well. He's third in the championship now as well. So that's going to be very, very intriguing. As Pat last on the grid on the medium compounded tyres. I had a feeling it was going to be on the mediums anyway. I think that was his plan all along going into this race. So we shall find out as everybody is lining up to the grid. Hopefully we won't have the starting light bug, which we don't, which is good news. The 5 lights are on, and it's going to be quite a long hold. And we are underway, and it's a pretty decent start from both Lakitu and Greenies. They all make it to through turn one, but we see one of the racing points. Okurat saying a very good start. Turn one's going to be very tight, so please watch out for some of these guys. We could see a few M plates flying off. I think I saw one already, but Lakitu in the lead. Greenie already up into second place. Pat already up into 18th place. A good start for him as well. Big C dropping all the way down to last due to the fact that he's disconnected. Ski Van's dropped it down into 10th place, but I think so far people are keeping it relatively clean, which is a bit of a surprise, so well done to these guys.
Yeah, I think Ski Van has actually got a bit of wing damage. He's missing his front left end plate, it seems, so he's going to begin to tumble down the order. They're pretty much running 2 by 2 further back down the order. Faz has had a really bad start and he's actually gone off there. I don't know if he's clipped the wall and got some wing damage, but it might have been a little bit of contact with the Racing Point driver of Curex. Now the Renault car going to be all the way down the order in 20th. It'll be a charge back up the grid. Meanwhile, Cotton trying to make a move at Ascari. You don't normally see overtakes there on midnight, and somehow they've actually not made contact.
Yeah, that was incredible. I think Gonan's trying to make as many risks as he possibly can. Well, let's hope that risk doesn't end up in the wall or something like that. And it's almost going to be free wide there, but I think Gonan has made the sensible decision to back off a little bit. But he's got CC Brain right on the edge of this as well. We got Compassion as well, going to take the right-hand side. Quite a few people in the pit, so quite a few people at the back were having some battles that we saw which had some incidents. But we got Will, who is still chasing down Lakitu. Don't worry, we're not on lap 3. This is lap 2. Unfortunately, they haven't fixed that bug yet, which I do hope they fix, Codemasters. But yeah, we've seen quite a few people gain some positions. If I just look at my positions, Pat has gained, actually now I'm not going to say what positions they gained. The positions are all over the place at the moment. I'm just going to let it just slide just for a little bit. So Luke's not in the lead right now because he's in the pits, but Pat has gained 4 positions. The one who's gained the most is Compassion, who's gained 5 positions. So he's had a good start already. We're already seeing some great moves indeed, as there's no DRS for Wilkes. Obviously, there's no DRS yet, but we're seeing a DRS train start to form pretty soon. The detection zone will come up, heading towards the curve of Grande into turn 4, as CC Brain is out of the session. He's not allowed to join back. That is a shame.
Yeah. Because of the warning glitch still not being fixed, they unfortunately cannot rejoin during the session. So that is CC Brain's race over. Disappointing for the Ferrari driver, but he's just got to move on to the next Grand Prix. I believe the intervals are a little bit glitched. I think they fixed themselves as they cross the line. But Will is not... He's not too far back from Lakitu at the moment. Lakitu's not completely out of the mud yet. He's still got to do some fighting. But yeah, a big DRS train is beginning to form behind pretty much the race leader, actually.
I think everyone apart from the ones that are pitted and the ones that are disconnected. So that's apart from CC Brain, Luke, Ski Van, and I think there's Kurax that is got another DRS train. So we've got a DRS train from 1st to 6th, and a DRS train from 7th to around about 17th. Apart from, let's see if Big C's joined back actually. Let me have a look. Oh, Big C's just joined just in time. I think just at the, I think he may have joined as the loading screen was happening. That was very lucky from Connor there. So he's still going in the race and he's not doing too bad at the moment. So I've got to say, he's in 17th where he was, and he's chasing down at Faz. I think Faz wouldn't want to be in 16th place right now, but he's got to focus on the rest of the race and not what happened at the start of the race. He's gone in and gets the first penalty of this race. I think a few people have got warnings from Ascari today. I think that is what has happened.
Yeah, it's a really easy place to understeer, and unfortunately make a mistake. You can get a warning pretty easily there. I know from experience, if I do say so myself. I believe Big C, the reason he dropped so many positions at the start was because of the contact with, I think Kurax has let his IGK teammate Ian Motti go through. He didn't seem to fight that too hard. But Big C, I think the reason he started so bad was because he was actually disqualified from the formation lap. So he couldn't have an opportunity to warm up his tyres. And that unfortunately meant that he was going to have much colder tyres, a lot less grip off the start. And that would have hampered him. As we can see, he's in 17th.
Yeah, I thought it was because it was his AI, but obviously not. So, but thank goodness he's back in the session and raring to go, whereas CC Brain is out of it. But we're seeing some more battles that is keeping hard is going to be hard to track throughout this race, but due to a majority of these people being in dirty air, that may mean that they may need to stretch these tyres just maybe pit a little bit earlier for the undercut. That'll probably be the best situation, but don't forget, most of these guys opted to start on the medium tyres, but only Cedric and Lakitu and Will in the top 10 have opted for the soft, so they will have to pit around about, I would say, lap 7, lap 8, I think, to start with, if you want to get a competitive edge towards the end. But these guys got to worry about the people on the mediums. They're going to be on the softs on the end, and they're going to try and catch you up. So maybe they might have made the wrong decision. But meanwhile, Cedric is doing very well on those soft tyres, as he's now going to go down towards turn 1. I think with the danger of these cars being in a DRS train, I saw this in another league I was commentating, a PC league actually. The more these cars are in a DRS train around here, it's so hard for these cars to overtake. The only advantage you're going to have is if you're in P2 and chasing down someone who hasn't got DRS. So this is going to be really, really hard.
I was just watching Midnight tracking down Hadler, and then I was actually riding on board with the Mercedes car, and then out of nowhere the other Haas car of Benny, the two NWS drivers working together, he managed to slip by Midnight, getting into the top 10. So double points for Haas team, especially since Benny's not been too strong in the championship. This could definitely be a big confidence boost for the driver there. But I think Will might want to get a move on against Lakitu. He's not feeling too much pressure behind from Greeny. He's actually defending from Tomato. He could make a move into turn number 1, I think.
Tomato leading the championship. He's got to take advantage of it because his nearest rival, apart from Faz, is Greeny, who is also in front of him as well. So he's got to get past him as quickly as he possibly can. But Tomato is getting a better entry and traction into the start-finish straight, and he easily gets past Greeny there. I think Greeny had no room. He had no DRS, I think, as well, which kind of helps Tomato. As I was saying earlier, if the car in front of you has no DRS, it will be quite easy to get past into turn number 1, unless you have a little bit of slipstream from the car in front potentially as well. Meanwhile, Benny has just got past Hadler into P9, so the two Haas cars are having a nice battle up front as well. We've got Dario catching up to this as well, so we can see more people trying to take advantage of this if they don't get the moves on. We may see some team orders into play. You're not allowed to get slipstream for your teammates in qualifying, but I do believe you're allowed it in the race, so you would really need your teammate to be with you at this point. But I think the only ones that could take advantage is the two Williams cars and the two Haas cars at the moment. Everybody else has got either some of their teammates at the other half of the grid, which is going to be a lot difficult. But we also got the two Red Bulls near each other as well, so they're going to take advantage of it too. But Dario's getting a beautiful run into a Scary heading towards Parabolica. I don't think Greeny was meant to give him slipstream, but that's going to really help Dario with his DRS effectively as well. I wonder if Greeny's going to get the run on Tomato again. Is he going to? Nope, he is not. So he's staying behind him at the moment. But we are potentially going to see in a few laps' time Lakitu, Will and Cedric and Benny as well thinking about pitting for the medium compounded tyres.
Yeah, at this moment in time, I would say that the soft tyres are quicker still than the mediums, but it won't be too long until those yellow wall tyres become the better tyre to actually be on. And Pat, once again, making up positions. He's done really well. Made up 6 places so far in this Grand Prix. He goes up the inside of Name Changer. He is hunting down those points. He got 5 points last week. Unfortunately, he did have to serve a qualifying ban for contact with Gonanen, but he did have a strong race. That no one can take that away from him. So he's done really well. Faz moving up the order as well on his comeback drive. Name Changer seemingly struggling a little bit. He's losing positions quite rapidly at the moment, so he might want to kick it up a gear and try harder to defend the positions. What
I found around this track actually is if you get stuck in the dirty air, especially around Monza, your tyres are being eaten pretty much. Your rears are a little bit more difficult to handle as well, and sometimes the front left can be quite difficult as well. As I believe when I did my race doing mediums to softs, the mediums started to run out pretty quickly a bit earlier on because I was getting held up by so many other cars. So I think Name Changer must be getting quite worried chasing down Faz, and also Big C right behind him as well, as he's looking for another comeback drive too as well. But meanwhile, we got Cedric possibly going to make a lunge for Greeny into turn 1. But again, Greeny defends that really nicely. But Greeny making a Bit of a mistake there as they all go through the Curva Grande. Now using their overtake button. I think we're seeing a lot of people using their overtake buttons around here. I think we're seeing a lot of drained batteries as well. That is going to play huge effect going into the rest of this race. If you don't have enough towards the end, your other competitors could gain a competitive advantage. Let's see, Cedric is not going to try and make it past Lesmo 1, but Greeny a little bit late on the brakes there. That might have caught Cedric out a little bit, but luckily there was no contact there. But that is allowing the likes of Dario and Tomato to pull away from Greeny LFC. But let's see, Cedric's getting a fabulous run into a score. He's got the DRS. I think Greeny didn't like that he was out of DRS there, and there he goes. Cedric, another position up into P5. Don't forget, he's only scored 1 point as well. He's looking to score more than 1 point this season. He joined midway. He's now got the McLaren seat. He's got a point to prove, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's certainly doing really well today. I think what I said about earlier with the wet setup, I do believe that Greeny is on a wet setup. That's why he's been struggling so much in this Grand Prix. I think Pat might have had an off. And Benny's around at Parabolica.
Oh, let me have a look. Yeah, I think he's got damage there. And his tyres, I think, is not good as well. But him pitting now is not a bad idea. That would have been potentially where I would have pitted anyway, maybe a lap earlier. So that's not going to hinder his strategy too much. But there's also a softer hard strategy, which some people would be using, and that is what Benny is using right now. Because I think lap 6 to 8 will be for the hard tyres. Any laps later than that, then you could go on to the mediums fine. But I'm guessing Benny just wants to cover to make sure his hards get until the end of this race as he goes through turn number 1. Now, that is a shame from Benny. He lost it all on his own there. So that is unfortunate. But meanwhile, Will's just not seeming to get past Lakita at the moment. Lakita is holding his own, just trying to lead these trainer cars going through these laps as well. I wonder what Lakita will be thinking when he goes into the pit. If I was Will, maybe pitting now would be the best option, because you're going to get the undercut and maybe try and get past it. I've noticed the undercut being powerful. Oh, Lakita almost doing the dummy there. I don't think that's allowed, but I'm guessing maybe both of them will be pitting at exactly the same time.
Well, there's more fights throughout the order, most notably right now the fight for third position. Dario has really made some inroads on the Williams Driver, the championship leader, and certainly Dario has the pace to be fighting for the championship. So this could be a test of whether he's ready to actually contend with the top guys. Greeny's made some inroads on Cedric as well. I wouldn't have expected that, judging by how easily Cedric got by on the Ferrari driver. Both of them seemingly struggling with the ERS situation at the moment, but Greeny definitely coming to his own. I think those soft tyres are pretty much going off at this point, so that is why that Greeny is going to be keeping up. I would expect them maybe in the next 1 to 2 laps to all come into the pits and take off those softs.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, Dario, I think, is incredibly faster than Cedric at the moment. 1.1 seconds separating between the two. So we are pretty much hitting the crossover point for the soft tyres. The mediums, I think, are a lot faster. I think we're going to see a few people get on the mediums get fastest lap. Watch out for Tomato. That's going to be the crucial factor. Even though Dario is catching up, they're on the same tyres as Benny has got a 3-second time penalty, which could play a factor into this race. But at the moment, it does not matter because he's right at the back of the grid. Anyway, as Will goes into the pit, Lakita stays out. So Will, I think, was listening maybe to what I said, going for the undercut on Lakita.
Yeah, I think it might have been a case of a box opposite to Lakita, but he is definitely going to get that undercut. So it is all about this outlap for Will. It's allowed for him to charge up some ERS, and I would expect him to drain that battery throughout this running, I guess. I think Name Changer just got by Faz at the moment, so now Name Changer certainly kicking it up, I guess. He's doing better than he was before, but Greeny's still right on the back of Cedric. I would expect Cedric and Lakita, the last of the soft runners, to come in this lap, and then that will unleash Tomato and Dario into the 1 and 2 position that was occupied by Lakita and Will.
Well, I think Cedric and Lakita have got to come in now, because you can see how fast Greeny is catching, going for Ascari. He's already in DRS territory right now as well, and can potentially go for the lunge again here as well. So I think Cedric will know that he has to come in now, but Lakita maybe could hold it on a few laps, but he's going to lose some time otherwise. So we're going to watch Nikita now as he goes through the final few corners. Willie opts to pit. Now the pit window is at laps 8 to 11, so potentially there on the final cusp a bit, leaving it for quite a bit, and the softs can last for 13 laps. So Nikita comes in, and Cedric comes in as well, so that is what we're to be expected. So watch out for Will. Where is Will now? He's coming through the parabolica. I think he's going to be ahead, you know, of these guys. I think he could be comfortably ahead, or he may be close, I'm not sure. He'll definitely be ahead of Cedric, but not sure about Nikita. Nikita comes out. Oh, it's going to be closer than I thought. And Will is ahead. That was a brilliant undercut from Will, and he takes the lead of the Italian Grand Prix, just like a certain Pierre Gasly done 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Well, that is actually quite funny. That it's quite ironic. It's also quite ironic that the same weekend, or just the day after that Pierre Gasly got the win, Will got his first win in F2 this season. So they're seeming to parallel themselves throughout this season in F1 and in PSGL F2. But Nikita has actually lost the DRS on Will now, so he's going to have to push a little bit to get back up towards the AlphaTauri driver. I believe that Luke has actually just got by Benny. So that's not going to help Benny on the hard tyres, looking to go to the end. He's getting overtaken by a driver that's not even pitted yet. He has pitted, actually.
The hards are not the best tyre, I think, around Monza. You would only use it in the most dire situations, and obviously Benny had it in the most dire situations. He had no other choice, really, because otherwise he would have had to stop again. So, you know, the hard tyres, the delta is considerably, well, bigger compared to the softs and the mediums. The mediums 0.9 seconds slower than the softs. Hards 1.3 seconds as someone's gone off, and as we said, Benny is out of the race. Are we going to have a safety car? We'll have to wait and see. Yes, we do. We've got a safety car. Oh, I wonder how that's going to work then. Is that going to help the medium ones? I don't know what I would do in this situation, because if I were you, probably going onto the hards will be the better option. Because if you go on the softs, there's no way you're going to get the softs to the end. Softs only last 13 laps or so. So they could be on the cusp of puncture territory. So, you know, maybe some of them will jump on the hards. Maybe some people may opt for them, stay on the mediums and then go on the softs a few laps later. I don't know, but maybe hards will be the best option for these guys. So that is a shame for Benny, though. His hard work has not paid off, sadly.
He's the first retirement of the Grand Prix, and that is a safety car. He lost it at Ascari. That is a really common place to lose the car. I think 2 or 3 laps later, this safety car, if it came out and around lap 15, perfect time for the medium runners to pit. But it will be interesting to see what they do. I don't think staying out is an option for them. So what is Tomato going to do? He's going to come in. So is Dario. Yeah, I'd expect them to pit. But given the fact that they're going to run 2 laps at least, I would say, under the safety car, we'll be going at probably a lap 16 is when we're going to start again. So they'll have 15 laps or 16 laps left to go. Wait, however many laps left to go. I think they can do it, you know. I think the softs can go to the end from here.
I actually forgot about that, actually. The tyres, when you go on the softs in safety car conditions, you're basically warming up your tyres and you're not using as much tyre wear. So if you were pitting now and it was full race conditions, then probably not. But if you're pitting now and you're going very slowly, then potentially, yeah, that could work. So Tomato is probably doing what I thought people were going to do and go on the hards. Everybody else, I think majority of the other drivers are going for the softs, including the ones, I believe, that are pitted already. The only ones that are staying out is Will and Nikita, who have pitted for the mediums. And more interestingly, there's another guy that's stayed out as well. 7-time PSGL champion Big C. I wonder what his strategy is there. Is he planning on something else potentially? Because he's going to lose a chunk of positions, or maybe the safety car came out at the wrong time for him. I don't know, but at the moment, Big C's leading the charge for the safety car at the moment on tyres that have been going for pretty much the whole race. So let's see what he can do from here.
Well, I'd assume that Connor stayed out because his teammate Midnight came into the box. So he couldn't really come in, unfortunately for him. He'll probably come in this lap, I would say, unless he's going to pull off a masterclass strategy. Everyone on the softs gets a puncture and Big C wins the Grand Prix. That is my prediction.
Wow, that's gonna be a bold prediction. And if you get it right, I'm trying to think what I can give you actually. I don't know. I'll discuss it after. I'll discuss it after the stream, okay? Because it's a bit not PG, but there we go. So yeah, Big C, I think it could be interesting. Or will Big C decide to pit now, even though he's going to lose quite a chunk? But he's probably going to be back where he is anyway, because Ski Van and Luke still haven't caught up to the safety car. And yeah, Big C goes in. He's got nothing to lose really. At the end of the day, he's still going to be back where he was. So here he goes. And safety car. You're not going to lose that much time in the safety car conditions, pitch stop-wise, compared to normal racing conditions. So he's done the right thing there. So there he comes out. Is he going to be ahead of Ski Van? No, he's not. So I think he's going to be... Yeah, he's going to be back in 17th again, where he was last time. So yeah, nothing to lose there.
At the moment, I think we might actually have one more lap of the safety car because Luke... is quite far back at the moment. They are at Cabo Grande at the moment, so he might actually be able to catch up to the train and get in that crew. But he's actually been given a bit of a saving grace. He was on the cusp of being lapped from what I remember. So he was ahead of them once the safety car came out, and that's actually allowed for him to overtake the safety car, go around, come into the pits, and not get lapped. So it has brought Luke back into this race. The only full-time driver at the moment yet to score points. He's 21st in the championship. Could be a good opportunity for him. Granted, he is an 18th, so he'll be right at the back of a DRS train. It won't be easy for him, but it is still a possibility.
Yeah, but it's still a possibility for any of these guys to get a top 10 finish, if not a podium. And due to the fact that they're all in safety car conditions, if you've had less penalties in this race, or even no penalties, you're going to be having a much better race for those of them that are outside. And the safety car is in this lap. So Will is going to be your race leader. He is going to be controlling the pace. He is the safety car. So what is he going to be doing? He's got Lakitu and Toxic chasing him down, as well as Dario as well. Dario is still looking to get his first win in PSGL. Tomato's looking to get his second win. Lakitu's going to get his first win. Will and Tomato are the only drivers in at this league at the moment because Rafa has left PSGL completely. That has won. So, you know, for me, I would like to see a different winner, but it'll be not nice and fitting to see Will win in Italy, just like Gazzy did. But anyway, we're going racing. We're about to go green flag as they all come across the start-finish line now. And it is green flag, and Will, what a restart from him, around about 3 tenths as they all go through turn 1. I think they'll all have to go through to start just over again. And Big C getting a 5-second penalty. Tomato almost hitting the back of Lakitu. That's not very good. Greenies drops down a bit from Dario. That's not what he wants. That means Cedric's going to be chasing him, heading towards just past Cabo Grande and into turn 4 in a second. Greenie's going to cover off to the left-hand side. Let's see what Cedric can do into the Variante. And then the second one. Nope, he doesn't get the move done there, but most of them keeping it clean so far, learning from their mistakes from the first lap and keeping their cool. I think the only one... oh, and here we go. Kurat's going to make a move on Cedric, and they touch a little bit there. Kurat's almost losing it in the second Lesmo. We do have a yellow flag. That is Cedric. I think he got caught up in that. That is a shame from Cedric. He was doing so well, and he's all the way down in 18th place, and his tyres must be absolutely dead now.
That is... I probably shouldn't take a side right now, but I think Kurax or whoever it was a bit ambitious to make a move there. Dario moving into P3, he is going to be on a charge at the moment because think about it this way, the undercut that Will and Lakitu were going to have from being on the fresh medium tyres was completely negated by the safety car. And with one real lap of actual racing at the moment, they've got 11 laps to go in the Grand Prix. No problems for Dario to go to the end. Lakitu trying to put some pressure onto Will. I don't think it's too smart for them to be fighting at this point in the race. They might want to try and get some distance or just try and defend from Dario, who's going to be on a complete and utter charge at the moment. Look at that. He's already dropped to within 2 tenths of Lakitu and Will. This could be a great fight.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this race is going to go. And we're already 10 laps to the end of this race. Oh, no, Cedric's out of the race. As I think, yeah, he retired in the pit lane. So that's to be expected. So no points for him. He's still on 1 point, which is a bit of a shame. He could have gone for his best finish, but that wasn't to happen. But I can't believe this race has gone so quickly so far, but that is what the Temple of Speed does for you. Dario is looking very racy, going for a Scary. Don't forget, no DRS yet until I think either the next lap or the one after. I think Dario might have the better run here. That's allowing Will a chance to pull away. Dario is looking absolutely brilliant. Going to the left-hand side. I think Lakita's got to cover as well. Watch out for Tomato and Toxic Tomato and Greeny, chasing down as well. But Dario, bravo on those soft compounded tyres compared to Lakitu's old mediums. Dario is looking on course to be winning this race on the strategy that he's on.
Absolutely, the safety car worked for a treat for him, but his work is not done because he has still got Will ahead of him. Might be a bit more of a fight from the race leader. He might want to try and keep the win over second place that Lakitu was having. But now it's going to be about Lakitu defending from Tomato. He's actually done a really good job keeping all the soft runners behind, being on the hard tyres. He didn't opt for the soft tyres. I do think that was a mistake on his behalf, unless he just forgot or it glitched. But he's done really well to keep it in fourth position. He hasn't lost anything. Cedric leaving the session, heartbreak for him. He really could have been on for something today, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. What a gutting position for Cedric. I mean, but he's got the next race in Vietnam to learn a bit, and he's got time to practice, so that's brilliant news. But Dario could potentially be on for a similar move to what we've seen him do to Lakitu. Yep, he is going to try and go for that move right now. But as you can see, I think Will being insanely quick on a straight line, which is really going to help him. But the more these two get held up, the more Tomato could come into effect as well as they go through the parabolic canal, heading in towards the start-finish straight. I think Will has got the most to lose from this situation. Dario has got the most to gain. Lakitu, look at that. It's already losing time from Dario already. Dario's going to make the lunge. He's going for it. He's gaining. He's the prancing horse here in Monza. Into turn one, into turn two. A bit of a touch in there. Going side by side now. Going into the Curva Grande. We got a yellow flag at the back, but more about that in a minute. But Dario takes the lead of the Italian Grand Prix, and that was a really bold move from him, but we can see Will maybe trying to go for the move again. Nope, he doesn't. So Dario, bravo. He's got a chance to pull away from this point. Did you see what the yellow flag was, by the way?
I believe it was Kurak dropping down the order. Something happened between there. I was too intrigued by the fight between Dario and Will. An Italian driver in an Italian car, the Italian Grand Prix. He is going to be chuffed if he can take it from here. He's still got some work to do. 9 laps to go in this Grand Prix, so he's not out the water. And Will is going to be coming back at him once his medium tyres gets up to a better point than the softs. It's not too far off before the soft tyres begin to go off. But Dario has got it all to do now. 7 tenths separating him and the Will, so he's already getting ahead of him. More fight. They're all caught in a DRS train at the back, aren't they? No one can make any moves. I think Giamotti could be on for an overtake on Tomato, though.
Yeah, Pian as well. The IGK boys doing very well in this race so far, showing that they've mean business and all midnight's out of the race.
In the pits? In
the pit lane, so he might have got damage that we didn't see. I do believe that's his first retirement of the season. I need to have a double check about that. No, but he's got 2 retirements already. He had a DNF in Hungary and in Belgium. So that is his 3rd retirement this season. And this time it was for choice. And if you do retire in choice, then you have to retire in the pit lane. If you retire on track, you do get a penalty. So he did the right thing there. But what a shame there. But I guess he didn't want to run where he was. And he might have lost a bit of time there. So on to next week for him as Gonanen gets a 3-second penalty. He's on for points, and now he could be in danger of losing points if people around him had less penalties. What a shame there. Meanwhile, Pat is looking on to score some more points this race. We said watch out for him. He's just got past Compassion. I think Compassion keeping it cleaner this race as well, which is brilliant to see, up into 11th place. But he's got Name Changer on the back of him as well, but Name Changer quite comfortably gets past Compassion. I do believe Compassion still is running, he is running line only, I believe, as well, because obviously they all have to run line only, and he's getting better and better at each race as he goes on. But you know, he wasn't involved in an incident with Big C, but I think they did talk it over, and I think that's why they didn't get as many penalties as I would have thought. I thought it would have been taken to the stewards, believe it or not, but it did not. So at least Compassion has learned from his mistakes last week. And I'm just seeing if the soft runners are trying to catch the medium runners. Greeny is 5/10 behind Lakitu. Lakitu is catching up on Will again. This Lakitu's podium could still be on the cards here.
Yeah, but they cannot ignore the charging Ferrari car, doing a lot better than they are in real life in PSGL. Of course, CC Brain has disconnected from this Grand Prix, so he is, I believe, 2 laps down or something, because the AI hasn't been adjusted. I believe it's on 41, so it is a heartbreak for him. He disconnected pretty much before his race even got underway. Gonan really on the back of Hadler at the moment. That seems to be the closest gap on track at the moment. Gonan has got a string of penalties though, which his last penalty that you spoke about was pretty much the most stupid penalty I've ever seen. But I think
that could get removed then.
Yeah, if he doesn't get another warning and he proves that it was his last warning, he could get that removed because it was such a stupid call there. It's hardly anything gained. It was a little correction out of Lesmo 1 just on the exit, and then I actually put him off the track ever so slightly. I think Faz is coming at him though, so what I thought was going to be a move on Hadler actually turned out a move on Gonanen, but it's not over. There's a bit of contact, and Faz could be off the circuit there. He's done well to keep that on, but Gonanen holding on to the position wasn't the most cleanest of defences there. Bit of wheel rubbing, but that is just going to happen in racing, isn't it?
Yeah, and whilst that battling was happening, we saw Kurats retiring from the session. So again, another retirement and another bad race for Kurats. So 0 points for him. So we're down to, I believe, 15 drivers now in this race due to CC Brain's disconnection. And that means more of a chance. You got more of a chance now to score points than not scoring points. So this is crunch time for these guys. With the gaps being so close now, if you get penalties, you get no points. That is the crucial factor going into this. So they really need to start pulling up the big guns here. Big C gets past Compassion, but this time they made it cleaner than last week, which was great to see. Compassion tried to defend there, but couldn't make it work. So Big C now going to try and chase name changer. Meanwhile, Skiven is going for a move on Compassion. On the medium tyres, don't forget. We are potentially going to see the crossover point really soon. I think that's really going to help Skivan going in to the start-finish straight. Is he going to hold on to take the shortest one to the line? He does, and he stays 13th. So brilliant job there.
Yeah, good job from him in 13th position. Meanwhile, Name Changer getting his way into the points-paying positions. I think Faz is having a bit of lag at the moment. That could have been the contact. But Pat now dropping out of the top 10. He's done really well, though. Up 9 positions from his starting place in 20th off the service qualifying ban. So he's done really well to hold on there. I think Will is a bit slow at the moment. He's really holding up his train, and it's actually allowed for Dario to have 3 seconds on the AlphaTauri car. It's not going to be too long until the softs will die out, and with not many laps left in the Grand Prix, he still can catch up, but I doubt it will be much to actually mount a challenge on Dario. Penalties could change everything, though. I'm not sure who has what penalties.
Yeah, I don't know either as well. And I want to keep it a secret, but we do know Gonanen's got another one. Oh, and someone's gone off. That's Greeny. Potential podium on the cards for Greeny, and he's lost a few positions. I don't think he's got damage at all. I think he lost it on his own there. That means I think Gonanen's got past him, but he's probably going to get P7 anyway on track. We'll see, and Gonanen's spun as well. That's probably desync. That's got to be desync. But that looked like he spun quite a bit, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Fad is now going up the left-hand side of Greeny. Now his tyres must have been dead because of it, and that's taking the advantage on Faz up into P7. Renault going to score some good points in this championship tonight as Gonanen is now out of the race. So again, he is still stuck on 1 point. You know, we put in luck on Gonanen and Luke to score big tonight, and Cedric, and they were right down there. That is unfortunate.
Yeah, heartbreak for all of the drivers that we said we wanted to get points. We should probably just stop talking about the race altogether, just so we don't curse any of them. But I do want to talk about Faz at the moment, or maybe I shouldn't, because no, I think we have to talk about him because he's done really well to get back up the order from his turn 1, or not turn 1, but lap 1 incident where he was sent to the back of the grid, and he's almost at his starting position. He's kind of been like Carlos Sainz this race, I would like to think, because he's charging up the order, but he hasn't been shown at all. We haven't really spoken about him today, so he's done really well.
Just like Lakitu last week. And they're both in Renault. And Sainz used to be in Renault, don't forget. So, you know, that's something to consider as well. We're almost heading to the end of this Grand Prix. And I do believe Dario has one penalty. So I think at the moment he's done. Screw it. I don't know. I'm not going to check penalties because there's battles going on. Name changer up the inside into turn 1, goes and gets past Pat. Ski Van has retired in the Parabolica. By the looks of things, final corner there. Will there be a safety car? We'll see. I doubt it.
Too late.
It would be too late, yeah. No. If it was a few laps earlier, then yes, there would have been a safety car, but I think the guys will have to live with it already. And yeah, again, it's a bad luck for one of the AlphaTauri drivers anyway, but the other AlphaTauri driver is doing so well. At the moment, he may not get the win like Pierre Gasly did, but I'm sure he'll be happy with this result. Anyway, one of the contenders for driver of the day, as well as Dario as well. There's so many other contenders as well. I wonder who the admins will decide to put on the pole position, as Will got a bit very squirmy-ish there, heading into Ascari. That's allowed Lakitu to catch up once again. This could be crunch time for these top 4 to try and gain some time. I think we are the crossover point between the softs and the mediums right now. Will has got to gain time at this point, because otherwise he's probably going to stay P2.
Absolutely. I think what Lakitu is going to do is try and make sure he reels him in. I think that they're probably considering at this point that the win is off the cards, so it's going to be a case of who can defend the position. These guys have been going at it all day. Pat and Name Changer losing the position to the German driver, so he's done really well to get into 9th position. That's 11 places gained. They're all in a big long DRS train stemming from Will all the way down to Greeny after he had his half spin at, I believe, Ascari. So yeah, no real overtakes going on at the moment. They're all just chilling behind each other, not doing much. I believe Iamotti run really deep into Lesmo 1. That could open the door for Hadler a little bit to catch up to him and maybe size up an overtake if he's close enough. But I doubt it. He's way too far back at this point. So yeah, no real overtakes going on at the moment. They're all struggling to find an opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I think that's what most of these drivers are suffering at the moment, and it could hinder him at the end as well. But Name Changer looking pretty racy as well. I think you've got to be around about 2 tenths or 1 tenth behind to make a difference. And Name Changer could be on... I'm just trying to see where Name Changer was in his championship before this. He's on 13 points. He could score another maybe 2 points if he gets past Pat. But don't forget, Pat started from the back, near the back. So did Name Changer as well. So both of them have had not too bad races if you think about it, even though both of them were caught in some instance earlier on, but they haven't let that phase them. We're on the final lap of this race. Here comes Name Changer then. Goes up on the left-hand side into turn 1. Now defends. Here comes Pat. Oh, wow. That was very, very close, but Pat defended that really well through the Curva Grande there, and he stays in P9. That's going to be very interesting heading towards the end of this Grand Prix. We got Lakitu as well chasing down Will, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think Tamayo's going to catch up to Lakitu either. So I think that unless these guys have any penalties, I think the positions are going to stay exactly as they are.
Well, if Lakitu can make any inroads on Will, it's going to be absolutely now or never for the final sector. They're coming up to now 4 tenths separating the cars between each other, and then about 8 tenths separating Lakitu and Will and Tomato, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Meanwhile, Dario coming through Parabolica. This has to be an emotional moment for him, winning his first PSGL race. It was stolen away from him in Spain, but here he is crossing the line at his home Grand Prix. What a win for Dario.
Will it be enough though? As he's only got 1 penalty, and Lakitu snatches. Oh my goodness, I thought Lakitu was going to get P2, but Hadler out of nowhere. We haven't talking about him at all this race. I believe he's got no penalties. That's what's helped him get P2. Faz from 7th to 3rd. What has happened? What? That's crazy.
He has come out of nowhere in this Grand Prix. Hadler with the driver of the day. Those two just kept it clean the entire race. They stayed out of trouble except for the lap 1 incident with Faz. he's got to be my driver of the day, coming from 20th position now into 3rd place on the podium. And that could bring him back into the championship hunt as well against Tomato. And it's Green. Oh, well, it's Greeny as well. Greeny had a poor race. Tomato dropped down as well.
Yeah, I didn't see where Tomato dropped it. I think a few people got penalties in the safety car, but I wasn't able to see that. But I'm not entirely sure. But there was a few people that were annoyed that the safety car came out. If the safety car did not come out, I think Nikita and Will would have had a good fight to win this one. Yes, just look at that. Hadler and Faz, penalty free. Hadler from 14th to 2nd, Faz from 5th to 3rd, despite the incidents. Fair play to these guys. So we got Dario that wins from Hadler, from Faz, from Lakitu and Tomato. Then we got Emotti in 6th. Will drops from 2nd to 7th. Faz nearly swapped positions. And then we got Greeny in 8th. Pat 9th. Name change gets the final point. And we got Big C, Luke, Compassion. And then we got your retirements of CC Brain, Skivan, Gonanen, Kurat, Midnight, Cedric, and Benny. But yeah, what a race. I was not expecting those penalties. I'm glad I didn't check those penalties because, you know, it definitely shook things up for these guys. But Dario almost had the win in Spain, but now he has it in Monza. What a good moment. And also another good moment, a win from an Italian car as well in Monza.
Absolutely. I don't know if they're still running under the Swiss flag because it is still Sauber, just named Alfa Romeo.
I don't know.
But we're going to consider it an Italian team, I think. So an Italian driver in an Italian car winning the Italian Grand Prix.
Oh yeah, it's his home race, isn't it?
It's all red, white and green today.
I completely forgot about that. I should have mentioned that. I am an idiot. I'm an idiot, but to win the race on the home turf, that'll be amazing. The Tifosi would be probably going crazy. Shame the Ferrari cars didn't have a good race, but surely the next best thing will be an Italian driver win the race. So that is great news for Dario. Will he carry on into the rest of the season? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe they could catch up to near the top as well. The gap is closing out, and also in the constructors, Renault potentially going to try and catch up to Williams now as well. This is going to be very, very exciting. Might be Jess Games 95. Thank you to Dan once again for joining me in the commentary box.
It's been a pleasure being here tonight and watching this race and commentating alongside you.
Ready, and make sure you join us next week for Vietnam, but there's still more PSGL action to follow tonight. We've got F1 and F3 happening right now as they're in the middle of qualifying, so make sure you go and check those out. We will see you next week. Have a good evening, everybody. Enjoy F1 and F3, and we're going to enjoy it as well, so see you soon. Goodbye.